Hey everyone, it's Liam Kennedy again from Kart Pros Kia of Huntington Beach. I have another new Kia to do a review on. This one's the X-Line Prestige Sorento. It's going to be the top of the line for the Sorento trim, the one that was newly redesigned for the 2021 year. They've been out for about 3 months or so now, if that, and I thought I'd give you guys a nice video to see what you think. Alright everyone, so like I said, we're going to be taking a look at the X-Line Sorento. This is the top of the line SX Prestige model, so this is as good as it gets. As we walk around, you'll see one of the nicest things on the outside is that you get these matte rims which match a lot of the little pieces that go around the car itself. And this is in the Aruba green color, which I've noticed with the Stinger and the Sorento, they're bringing green back and they're doing a really good job of it. This is personally one of my favorite colors in the lineup for the Sorento. I think it does a really good job with the sort of matted out pieces that they put around, and then of course back to the front you get this super nice looking tiger grille, really large with those full beam projector headlights and daytime running light at the bottom. But overall, I think they did a super good job on this car, inside and outside. So let's take a look in the car and then we'll see what you think as well. Something that I've always found was really nice is when they put in wood, which is something that we'll see in a lot of the higher end trims. But as we pan around the car, you can sort of see towards the back, the seats get this very nice stitching pattern to them. This has the Bose sound system. Kia's been splitting their sound systems for the Harman Kardon and the Bose. You can see it's a full 10-way adjustable seats. Both of them are amazing sound systems, since that's something that I'm personally a really big fan of when a car has an extraordinary sound system. I'd have to say the Sorento with the Bose system sounds a little better than the Telluride's Harman Kardon. Now, of course, everyone has their own personal opinions, but it's a little bassier. So for people that like having a really nice, deep music, this is going to be the car for you. Other than that, you get the fully digital instrument cluster. This is one of the first Kia cars that has come out with it besides the K900. And I think that is beautiful. They actually have different types of screens that you can set up, preferences to add different styles, and we'll go over those. But to start off, this is a 2.5 turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It's going to be the same engine that you find inside of the K5 GT and in the Stinger GT line. So it definitely has some power, while giving you a full 7-seat experience of an SUV. To go over some of the other small details, just to show you, it has extraordinary design, as you can see with the armrests right there, keeping the same design that you see on the seats, and then the wood trim that runs across the whole front of the car, as well as going in all the handles for the back seats and front driver's side as well. Since it is the SX Prestige, you get heated and cooled seats for both driver and passenger, as well as some adjustable modes that I'm sure you're familiar with. Most all-wheel drive models getting a snow mode if it's a little hard to see, Eco, Comfort, Sport, and then Smart mode, which is a mix of Sport and Eco, giving you each one when it's best. Other than that, you get a heated steering wheel, auto hold, hill descent, electronic parking brake, parking sensors, and one of my favorite things, the ability to turn on your 360 view camera when you're in drive. So let's say you're pulling into a parking spot, you can pull up the 360 view camera and see how close you are to something in front of you, and seeing how close your corners are to the cars around you. So personally, if you're driving through traffic, you have to squeeze through on the right lane, you can turn that on and get a good view, or when you're pulling into a parking space. So it gives you lots of options on when to use that option and have it turned on. And then you just click it again and it'll go off. Drop it back in the park. Other than that, one thing that they've done in this car better than almost any other Kias is they gave you an actually usable wireless charger right there. So as far as like some of the other ones where it's kind of hard to get your phone in and out, this is the easiest one by far, in my opinion. Other than that, you do get 3 middle chargers right there. And what I love is the fully digital climate control. Just a tap, you can adjust almost everything with these nice little metal knobs to adjust the tri-zone climate control for both driver, passenger, and the rear people as well. We'll go over infotainment last, but first I wanted to show off some of the interior features, and we'll head into the back after I show you this amazing sunroof that comes in this car. This is the biggest sunroof that they've put into almost any Kia at this point. I've noticed that in the Telluride they split it, but this is just amazing. And the whole front half of the glass opens up like so to give you a nice view of the outside, give you a little wind, and I think that looks beautiful. Also with these nice little single touch LEDs. You just need to tap them. They're not really a button or anything, so they're very easy to turn on and off. Other than that, let's scoot over into the back and see what we think of the space back there. They give you little cup holders up here in the front, which I thought is a beautiful little handy touch, as well as very deep wells right here. Again, with the nicely designed Bose speaker there at the bottom. You do get air vents and 2 chargers down there, as well as in each seat another charger. So there's 3 chargers in the front, not including the wireless, 4 in the middle, and 2 in the back. So this car is going to have power for everybody that sits in there. You're not going to have to worry about having to share your charger if you have to. But once we step inside, these seats are very comfortable. You know, except for the fact that your knees are riding a little high. You know, I guess if you go down towards like that, you get a bit more comfortable seating, but you can adjust them forward and back using this bar, as well as reclining the seat using that one right there. So if you don't care about the people in the very back, you can get yourself a good amount of space. Let me zoom out a bit so we can see how it looks back there for the people. I would say the biggest problem is leg room. You're sitting with your knees pretty high in the back, so I would say that even though it is an SUV, that space is mainly meant for children or people that are a bit smaller. Second seats are folded down right there. But like I said in the beginning, I really love the designs that they do inside of here. I think that it is very well designed as well. When you're sitting back, you get that full sunroof that extends all the way to the middle seats. So it's very luxurious sitting back here. I wouldn't mind being driven around in a car like this. I think there's plenty enough space for the people in the middle. And then let's scoot up the front seats and then see how that looks. We'll open up the trunk as well and take a look at the space. With it being the top of the line, you do get power liftgate, which opens just like that. What's nice is it also has what's called a smart power liftgate, which means that you just need to stand at the back of the car for 3 seconds. Let's say you have a bunch of bags in your hands, and the liftgate will open up automatically without you pressing any buttons. Other than that, the rear seats are retractable. You just pop it up like that and you can flip up the headrest. And then they drop just the same. You pull it and they fall down like so. What's nice is you can actually control the middle captain chairs using these buttons right here. So if you're loading in something from the back and you wanted to drop the middle one so you don't have to climb around to push them down yourself, you have the option to do so. Then let me close this up and then hop back in to get into the rear seats and give you my honest opinion about how the space is back there. All right, so we've made it, and like I said, from the position I was in before, you are a bit squished back here, but you know, it's not terrible, you know, except for the lack of leg room. You know, you have plenty enough headroom up at the top. You know, I'm about 5'11", so I get, you know, I'm a decent height, but even for someone my size, I wouldn't be, you know, tortured sitting back here. I think that for most people, and especially children, it's not going to be a problem. But let's take this thing on a drive and see how it is on the road. I'll be right back. All right, everyone. So like I said, we're going to take this on a little drive, and I'll explain best I can how this engine feels, because it's going to be something that I drove in the K5, and I personally thought it had some really good power in there. Of course, with this being a more luxury-centered car and having a lot more weight and size, it's not going to give the same sporty appearance and drive, but we are going to switch it into sport mode and see just how well this thing can perform. I'm going to turn on the all-wheel drive as well, just to see if that extra four-wheel drive action gives this a little more boost at all. But we're going to come up to this stop sign and I'll give it a little pull and we'll see how it performs. Be right here. So it's a fast car for this size, that's for sure. I think that personally, if I was ever gonna get something that was this large, I've always been a bit more of a fan of sedans, but when I saw this car, the upgraded LED or the fully digital screens, the power that it has, and just the looks itself were something that sort of sold me. I was really impressed the first time that I saw it, especially in this trim level and this color and pattern. But it's definitely a fun car. You know, having the turbocharged engine, it actually isn't as powerful as the Telluride 6-cylinder, but it's something that feels a little more fun. It's a little more agile because of its size, and of course driving a turbo car is just... I cut out a little bit there, so what I was trying to say is that it's a really fun car to drive. I'm gonna finish up getting to my dealership pretty soon, and once we do get back, I'll give you a nice in-depth look at the infotainment and some of the other little quirks. But before I do that, I wanted to point out that it does have the in-dash blind spot monitoring system that a lot of people get really excited about. So with that, like I said, I'm gonna head back to the dealership and go over infotainment. See you in a bit. All right, I just got back, and I thought to start off the video of the infotainment, I would take a video of how well this 360 view camera actually works in person. You can sort of see exactly what you get and what you don't with the demonstration here. I gotta be as careful as possible since I am videoing and parking at the same time. But as you can see, it's very intuitive as far as showing you how close you are to everything around you, and so on and so forth. So I'll probably just leave it here for now, and then I'll put it in a better spot later. But let's start going through the infotainment and see what we think of that. This right here has Kia's newest display size and their newest infotainment software. So as far as the home screen goes, right there, you can set up different preferences and set your own photos and such in the background, as well as quick access to your navigation. You swipe over to get a couple other features there. Some of the new additions from 2020 on are going to be the sounds of nature, which allows you to just play different sounds of nature, stuff like walking in a snowy village, snow falling, rainfall, fireplaces, stuff like that. You also get passenger talk, which is something hard for me to demonstrate up here, but what that allows you to do is, without turning around, it videos your voice and plays it through the speakers in the back. So if you have kids or people back there, instead of having to turn around and yell or talk to them, you're able to just click that and it plays your voice through the speakers to help amplify it and keep you from having to turn around and take your eyes off the road. Other than that, when we do walk into the setup of the car, we're gonna head into vehicle, and I'm gonna show you my personal little favorite things about this car. Starting off with the cluster, which allows you to choose different themes that show up right here. So theme D is my favorite since it's the most open looking, and you know, it looks like the most screen, like it gives you the most I just think it looks really nice like that. But other than that, you do have your traditional gauges as well. This is what I like to call the Tron themed one. and then you have a more retro sport looking one, and then a standard one right there. Most of the time you can link it to your drive modes, which allows you to basically have each drive mode have a different setup, but I like D most of the time. You can always set it to wherever you like. Other than that, what my two pet peeves about this car is, one, there's no sunglass holder, and two, they don't add any ambient lighting throughout the car, which is something that's a little disappointing, since I've always thought that the lights running underneath the trim was a very nice luxury touch. But other than that, it does make up for a lot of the little things with adding many convenience and safety features. For everyone that is worried about the safety in this car, you get the blind spot monitoring system that I displayed before, as well as getting it on the mirrors with active blind spot assistance, which stops you from having to hit someone when you turn an indicator and move. It'll actually take control of the car and stop you from getting in front end collisions and blind spot collisions, as well as many other things like upgraded airbags, upgraded forward driving assistance, and then of course you do get the stop and go cruise control, which I have tried out in this car. And if you're not super familiar with it and you don't think that it's something that's very valuable, it does come in handy when you're driving on the freeway for long spans of time. It works really well, and after you get used to it, it's going to be a feature that you're happy you have on your new car. Other than that, it does still come with wired CarPlay and Android Auto, which can be controlled with this right here. You do have the option to drop it into manual mode by scooting it to the side, or using the paddle shifters to change which gear you're in to give you a sportier driving experience. Other than that, in the infotainment, they did adjust the way that the radio looks, which I think is a very cool looking system now. You have these retro style little glass gauges for when you tune it. You have the option for XM, FM, and AM. And the navigation is pretty similar to what we've seen before as well, displaying nighttime and daytime with you setting up your preferences and such like that. But overall, I think they did a beautiful job with setting up the look of the car. As I pointed out before, the design is just impeccable with the spread of metal, wood, and leather throughout the car. One more look at that gorgeous sunroof up there. But I hope that you liked this video of the Sorento X-Line. I'm going to be getting some more videos soon with other cars that come on my lot. And of course, if you have any videos that you want to see for yourself, let me know. And it was nice talking to all of you. I'll see you next time. One last thing I did want to point out, since I didn't get a very good image of it before, is the window sticker, so you can see the different features and of course pricing for this vehicle. You can hold it here for just a second, you can take a screenshot. But other than that, one last thing, it does come with the remote start that we're seeing in a lot of new Kias nowadays, and I'll see you next time.